Welcome into the Ole Miss Morning-After show with me, Ben Garrett, at Spirit Ben. The Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, on 3. And Bradley Sowell, former Ole Miss offensive lineman, 8-year NFL vet. Following Ole Miss's win over Georgia Tech, it looked like a beatdown, 48-23. Not quite. Ole Miss jumped out to a 24-3 lead after a 10-3 lead at halftime. And then Georgia Tech battles back, makes it a one-score game. Ole Miss extends it back out. At the end of the day, Ole Miss is 3-0. And that's exactly where Ole Miss wanted to be, Brad, heading into Alabama. What are your initial impressions following Ole Miss's latest win for the 2023 season?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we kind of controlled the game, for the most part. If you look at that Georgia Tech team's a little bit better than last year's for sure. The new quarterback from Texas A&M, the King guy, I think is in Hayes King. Dude, not a bad quarterback, honestly. Really wasn't a bad quarterback. But all in all, our athletes, I mean, we out-athleted them. What I am concerned about, though, just in watching it, man, like the defense was, I mean, there's some big plays. There's a lot of big plays. I got the freaking Wesley McGriff vibes. I got the Wesley McGriff vibes on some of those, man. Some wide open receivers, some inside zones that are just, I mean, dude, we can't. It's 3rd and 12. I hate to be negative to start this out because it was a good win. Ole Miss at a point now to where we're not really that happy with 25-point wins or whatever it was.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, we would have taken that, the years ago, really easily. But I just think I'm just concerned about what's coming. You know what I mean? Like the defense is, they're really bend. They were breaking some, but there's just some scary stuff on defense today.
There's no doubt that the defense isn't really necessarily where they want to be after 3 weeks, but it's not like it's been an outright disaster. I think the biggest issue is pretty glaring, and that's at the second level. They just don't have a lot of next-level talent at linebacker. And we need to go ahead and get it out of the way. Behind me, I put up a makeshift sign right before we sat down to record. Free Sonny P. He was a 5-star plus prospect on On3, one of the very rare 5-star plus prospects. And last week, I mean, he led Ole Miss in tackles against Mercer. Last week, it was discipline. That's why he didn't play. Come to find out that he got relegated to special teams because of something that happened a couple of days before the game. Okay, that's fine. He's out there in the very first series tonight against Georgia Tech, as we're recording this on the Saturday night after Ole Miss wins.
Yeah.
And he pops immediately after, for a while there, not much of anything popping at the second level. And it's no disrespect to Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste and Monty Montgomery and Ashanti Sistrunk and Reggie Hughes, but there's a difference in athleticism, dynamicism, if that's a word. There's a difference when Sonny P is in the game at linebacker. And I know there's going to be mistakes.
I hate the way they're playing him. I watched them all game. I hate it. A tight, from him being that little tight on the edge like that, he's still explosive enough to make some plays, but I hate the way they're using him. I want him standing up in the middle. I want him to be able to use his athleticism side to side. I mean, obviously, I'm not questioning the coaching, but I mean, the dude's barely 215. I mean, how is he going to line up on the edge? He's still good enough to make some plays, but he's just too tight. He's too tight. He's not able to use his range and athleticism. Just watched him all game. He still made some great plays, but dude, I want him standing up in the middle, somewhere in the middle. I think that's where he's more suited, just looking at his speed and stuff. But I hate the way they're using him. I know that's Pete's defense, but I think that he needs to be a little bit bigger to play out there, to be really effective. They're kind of pigeonholing him to where he's, it's just as soon as the tackle gets their hands on him, I mean, he's eating up, So I'd like to see him be able to run side to side a little more than he's being used.
Well, I got a couple more questions about this. And also Quinshon Judkins, as we first reported on the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On3 yesterday, he was doubtful, quote, doubtful for today. He ended up playing. Yeah. He didn't start, but he played. I think that is more – he has sore ribs is what we heard, but I think it was more – I mean, I don't know if Quinshon – I don't know. This whole –
Man, what did I text you? What did I text you before the season? You thought I was an idiot? If you remember what I texted you about Quinshon, I said, does Quinshon get 1,000 yards rushing this year? You said, seriously, the better over-under would be like 1,400 or 1,200. I said, Ben – no. I just have this weird feeling, dude. I have this weird feeling that something's up, and I don't know, man. Dude, you look at the way Bentley was running is what Quinshon was running like last year. I get it. Some of the stuff's O-line driven. There's some issues on the O-line, but he just ain't got that. Like, there's something going on with the way he's hitting it, man. I mean, Bentley came in there and busted 2 runs. Hell, even the little kid at the end of the game came in and busted a run.
Yeah, Matt Jones got his first career. I think it was his first career touchdown.
And I will say that.
Yards. Yeah.
I will I will say this, like, they are definitely cramming up the middle for us, which is why the perimeter was so open today, right? I've been saying it all year, like, hey, we gotta get to the outside, we gotta stretch the ball a little bit, and it worked, right? But also Judkins had a few plays where they're trying to do the same plays they were doing with Bentley, but you can't slow play that edge, man. So I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but we got to get the ball in Bentley's hands more. We really do. I know they don't want to steal Judkins' shine. Judkins' great at what he does downhill, but we have got to start using that kid. He is explosive. He's a great changeup. He's almost can serve the exact same role that Evans did last year. But they got to get the damn ball in that kid's hand. He's hungry, right? He's sick of watching Judkins run the ball, getting all the carries. Put somebody in there that's hungry. Get him the ball, dude. Judkins just ain't got it right now. He doesn't. I mean, it's not all O-line. I can tell you that right now. There's some stuff that's there.
Yeah, the offensive line issues are obvious. I mean, one thing, Jaden Williams did get in tonight, so it's not like he's in the doghouse. I'd heard for a while that it had nothing to do with necessarily what Jaden Williams was doing wrong, so much that Victor Kern was just better than
Kern's
him in
legit.
practice.
I thought Kearns was a good player when I saw 57 Pettis come out tonight, and he literally had been playing left tackle all game, and he switched right over and still made a guy at right tackle in his stand. That's pretty good. I mean, that tells me that he's probably an NFL swing guy or has a chance to make the NFL to be a swing guy. His set looked just the same on the right side, so I do think it has a lot to do with Kern just being a big ass athletic dude. He looks good, man. He's pretty damn physical out there. So I think Williams. I'm not sure, but I think he had an injury.
Jeremy James and Jaden Williams post injury aren't the same players. I mean, they had
Yeah.
serious injuries and serious surgeries, didn't get the spring in, and it's going to take them some time too to become the players they either once were or were on the way to be in the case of Jaden Williams before this offensive line, I think, takes a step because Victor Kern's got to roll no matter what. But I agree with you. I think that Ulysses Bentley offers something that Quinshawn doesn't as far as
He's running hungry as shit, and that's just the only way to put it. Like this is how somebody that really, really is starving for carries runs the ball, and that's what you got to have sometimes, man. And and the way they're plugging the middle right now, he's a great changeup for us, and he's
Right.
also opening up for Jaxson Dart. Dude, Jaxson Dart's that freaking dude, man. He is. I mean, he is mature. He's controlling. This is what I want to see. Been wanting to see. He is. I mean, I'm telling you, he's better than Corral. If he ain't, he's getting close. He has a chance. He has a chance this week, these next 2 weeks, if he comes out and balls out like he's been, dude, he can really take a step forward, man. But the way he's throwing the ball, as confident as he is back there, he's fun to freaking watch. He's fun to watch, man. He can run, he can throw. Like he's on it, man. He's a damn good player for us.
How long have we been saying that the whole key to this year was that he needed to take the Matt Corral year two leap under Lane, and that's what it looks like he's doing. You look at his
Yeah.
numbers, he's ridiculous. 10 for 18, 251, a touchdown, no interceptions. The protection was better. I want to note that. We've been kind of dragging the offensive line. As far as pass protection, with limited options, Trey Harris was out, as we reported on the Ole Miss Spirit was happening. Then Chris Lowe reported this morning, and Matt Zenas, all those other guys, because Lane started texting people. But also Jaxson Dart was Ole Miss's leading rusher, 136 yards, 14 carries, 2 touchdowns, 9. And you said that going into the week. I think how Jaxson Dart needed to get more involved in the run game, you thought, because of how defenses were playing Ole Miss in an effort to stop Quinshawn Judkins. And again, Quinshawn Judkins is stymied to the tune of 13 carries, 37 yards, 1 touchdown, 2.8 yards per carry. It just doesn't look right. Just as it doesn't look right to me, at least on the second level for Ole Miss on defense, because I think a lot of their problems aren't necessarily scheme. I don't think it's necessarily talent on the back end. It's all from me right there in the middle, and it's a dumb question. And but I freely admit I'm not a football savant. You played 8 years in the NFL. You know football better than I ever will. So when a player like, and Akilo Stone's a good example of this, the defensive tackle from Georgia Tech, he's running with the threes right now, but he comes in, and every time he comes in, he's seemingly causing disruption. Same thing with Suntarine Perkins. And I'm curious, in your experience in football and organized football, when it's so obvious, it seems to a fan that, oh, that player is doing a lot of good things whenever he gets the opportunity, why don't you just play him, even living with the mistakes? Why is it not that simple? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it's overall. So in order to earn playing time on the field, you have to be the complete package, right? Like you have to do it all week. You have to be on it. You know what may be happening all week. Maybe these guys get in there when their plays called and they're messing up in practice, or they're not quite getting the plays. But boom, they get in the game, and every time they touch it, it's like, man, that dude's good. but there may be some other stuff, pass protection, other little things, with a running back that they may not be great at. They may mess up in practice. So it's kind of the total package. These coaches, they're playing who they think's better based off what they see in practice every day. You know what I mean? Like, so there's more to it, but yeah, you're right, man. I mean, every time Bentley gets the ball, it looks good. And I saw Perkins make, I think the first play he got in there, he made a big hit.
He was
I just
responsible
personally
for
think
that big special teams play.
I don't think I think they're, hey, it's a long season. SEC play is gonna be coming up. At some point, they're going to keep them rolling, right? They're not just going to throw a true freshman in there on defense, right off the bat. But at some point, man, I want to see the kid standing up. I really do. I think that's where he's more suited. I don't know. I haven't been at practice. Again, these coaches are at practice. They're seeing these guys every day. They probably tried all these guys everywhere with as much time as they're up there. To me, I want to see him stand up and be able to use the athleticism side to side. I think what they got him doing now, real tight five technique, man, it's just tough. And being that little dude, I'd actually run right at his ass. I mean, if I was
being a tight five, for those who do not know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tight five, just right up on the tackle's outside shoulder. If he's head up, it's a 4-eye, or a wide 9. A wide 9 would be out wider. Which is tough to do with him being that little, because then you open up a void there. So I just want to see him in the middle more. I want to see him more stood up. I don't think he's a pass rusher. I just don't. But again, I could sound dumb because I don't see him every day in practice. Maybe they've tried him that and he's lost in the space. Maybe he is playing the role that they want him in. But I just think that I want to see him blitzing. I want to see him hitting A gaps. I want to see him on third down up the middle. I don't want to see him on the outside against a tackle who's just going to eat his little ass up. So he's limited in what he can do out there, in my opinion. So that's what I want to see, man. I want to see him move around. But yeah, he pops off. Bentley pops off. There's a couple guys, man, that when they're out there, it's just they just look good. They
big
look good
play,
like
Dayton Wade always making a play, man.
Dude, I text you during the game. I said, man, I love this kid. Like, he's just always making the catch. And dude, that little sucker does not go down easy either. I mean, dude, he is always running. I always say trying to break glass when you run, that's a running back term. But dude, when Dayton Wade catches the ball, he tries to crush people, and he's just a little dude. But that's the kind of guys we got to have in there. And I get it, he got the whole Juckins thing, got a ton of money this year, got a ton of expectations. All eyes are on him. But, man, that shit's real, dude. Dude hadn't cracked 50 yards yet, you know what I mean, or so. I mean, it ain't all the O-line. You had other backs coming there tonight and hit home runs. So, man, we got to get him back going. It just doesn't look the same. It just does not look the same as it did last year. And I don't know what's going on.
The Ole Miss Morning-After Show with Ben and Brad is brought to you by Jake Ott of Bank of England Mortgage. Buying a home? Take the first step by getting pre-approved by the Jake Ott team at your local Bank of England Mortgage. Buy with confidence, knowing the exact cost and what to expect by getting the paperwork behind you on the front end, making for a relaxed, stress-free home buying experience. Whether it's your game day condo, starter home, dream home, investment property, beach house, or mountain home, Jake Ott and Bank of England Mortgage have the financial solution for you. And through the end of 2023, they're offering no-cost refinance for all who purchase in the current high-rate economy. Interest rates will come down soon, but Jake Ott and Bank of England Mortgage will be there to save you big money on your refinance when the time is right. Let Oxford's Best take the stress out of your home buying experience. Check out Jake Ott and the Bank of England Mortgage team at www.boeoxford.com. That's boeoxford.com. Or you can contact Jake directly at 662-832-4663. That's Jake Ott of Bank of England Mortgage, the title sponsor of the Ole Miss Morning-After Show with Ben and Brad.
Okay, so good to get to 3-0. Wasn't pretty at times, but again, like I told them, these are what happens in games. Everything ain't going to go our way like the first game did, the first game of the year. So credit to those guys. They had a good plan, I thought, offensively, did some good things, and they have. I think they were leading the ACC in offense coming in. So we've got the quarterback, playing a lot better than he used to, and doing a good job. I thought Jaxson did some really special things today, running the ball and making people miss, running physical, and then, it was good to hit a couple explosive plays late there in the passing game. So I tell them, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict exactly what's going to happen with the run, pass, and the yardage. We ran the ball really well in the first half, and, they were playing deeper, and we weren't throwing the ball really well because we called more runs. So kind of what you're supposed to do when you coach. So I was glad how it ended up with us winning the fourth quarter again and winning the second half. Coming out 14-0 right off the bat, and then finishing I think 21-7 or something like that, 24-7. So that was good to see, and we've got a lot of work to do. I don't think we're very pleased how we played defense, even though the points, were decent early in the game. A lot of yardage, a lot of missed tackles. So we got a lot of work to do there.
Jaxson career high, I believe, 136 yards rushing in those two scores. Was that the plan coming in? Did you know that might be something you could take advantage of coming in?
Well, some of that was last year. We ran the ball really well, and running back and quarterbacks a year ago against him, and they're a lot of the similar scheme with the same defensive coordinator. So some of that was. Obviously, you don't know that the long run's going to break like it did, and there were some short yardage there that we've been struggling a little bit in short yardage. We just want to make sure we got outside of everything and pick some up. So he did a really good job, and you got to pick up the flag, when top receiver's down. He's got 8 catches for 5 touchdowns on the year, and top tight ends down, and the running back wasn't 100%. So I commend the running back for playing. He didn't practice very much at all this week, and played physical in there, and tried to help his team win.
Lane, 2 weeks in a row. I know we asked you this after Tulane last week, but came out in the second half there with adjustments and just a little bit different kind of attitude. What have you seen these 2 weeks inside that locker room that's kind of maybe seen a switch flip with your guys?
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me. Coming into the game, the second half was extremely lopsided how we had played, and we did it again. So got to be up there in second half and fourth quarter scoring margin in the entire country. So I don't know. I can be one of these coaches that takes all the credit and says this halftime speech I keep giving. I just think it's the players continuing to execute and making the plays better and doing better in situations.
Coach, you said you got work to do. Could you be a little more specific in what areas you're most concerned with?
I didn't think we tackled very well, like I said. Didn't rush the passer as well as I would have thought we would. I thought our matchups coming in would have been up front, would have made it harder on the quarterback. So, those guys coached too and did a good job. I think they're very well coached on offense this year and doing good things. And we seem to not, until the end there, not have really great passing game going since Trey's been hurt. And Prieskorn being out this whole time was a major staple of our offense coming into the season. So Jackson's kind of stepping up.
You were talking briefly just about defensive miscues with the time of possession, what it was in favor of Georgia Tech, and when Georgia Tech started kind of mount a comeback a little bit, you feel like the amount of times that the defense was on the field kind of taking its toll. Do you feel like that kind of played a factor in that?
Well, there's 2 things on that. One, we play fast, so we're probably never going to win the time of possession. I don't know if we've ever won it. So they won it today, 40 minutes to 20 minutes, and we won 48-23. So that is the most irrelevant stat to winning football if you want analytics. That's an old school way of thinking. Because really you just take longer between snaps standing there. Why does that mean you're going to be better? So the problem is not getting off on third down. They go 11 of 20 on third down, so they keep going. That's where the problem comes, and you get stuck out there for a lot of plays. We hit some explosive plays, and then that's how you end up getting lopsided 89-56 play count in the game.
On the defensive side, there's been a lot of rotation. Just what are kind of your pros and cons of that?
Sorry, on which side?
Defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, we're trying to play a lot of players. Again, high play count by not getting off on third down. We're getting off on every third down, you won't play as many players because you're not getting tired. So, and we're still trying to figure out. We got a brand new system and rotating guys in and figure out who are the best players.
Lane, Monday you talked a lot about the belief in the run game and how important that is. Just how good is it when you see that you're not only, getting those run plays in, but then they start breaking them off, and that belief starts paying off?
Yeah, we just do what it takes to win. And there's probably a lot of things we don't do well. I think one is offensively of adjusting and whatever. We're just not going to throw the ball all the time or run the ball all the time. We're going to figure out what they're doing and have a lot of plays that are RPOs in some ways that are designed based off of what they do. And, today, 19 pass attempts and 37 carries. So got to do what it takes to win. And sometimes you don't know who you come out there and they start playing some double cloud coverage. You know, it's hard to throw.
Coach, you moved to 3-0. What are you hoping your guys will take from non-conference into conference play as you guys open conference play next week in Tuscaloosa?
You know, the only thing you can be is 3-0. You can't be 4-0 after 3 games. So I commend our players for that. We got new coaches. We got tons of new players out there. We've got some, significant major impact injuries on offense. So I commend them for getting to 3-0. And I kind of would have thought, it was going to take some time to get going. So you want to survive and win these games and continue to get better as these parts come together, especially, like I said, defensively. I mean, you got a ton of new players out there trying to play together in a brand new system.
Lane, do you have any response to the lawsuit filed by DeSanto Rollins this week?
Yeah, we issued our statement. We have nothing further to say at this time.
Coach, of those rotational players on defense, anybody kind of stepped up for you, popped off the page? I thought Akilo Stone played pretty good today.
Yeah, he's done a good job pass rushing when he's gone in there. I like when Tennyson goes in because, he adds some speed in there, even though we kind of play him at linebacker. He's low undersized, but really like how hard he hits and how he runs. And obviously makes plays. Seems like almost every time he goes in, number 4 makes plays. So we got to continue to find a way to get him to master more and more. It's hard on defense to get guys to play outside backers and off backers. There's a lot of stuff to do in college football.
Lane, what's your assessment of the offensive line through 3 games? Do you feel like you've found the right combination of guys?
I thought today was obviously much better than last week. Here it says 4 negative lost yards, only 1 yard by a running back. So that means I look at that really quick to see if you have negative runs. If you have negative runs, that usually means you're getting beat up front. So they did a much better job today, and they practiced better this week. So it was good to see. Now we got to get rid of the holdings because that's what sets us back. Lost us some points.
I know your focus has been on your team. I'm curious how much you've paid attention to Alabama and specifically some of their quarterback issues. Last year, Bryce Young was obviously the difference maker on the field. He won't be there this time. How big of an opportunity is this for you guys catching them with quarterback uncertainty?
Well, it's good to know Bryce won't be there. That's very positive. I mean, we all got our issues, and this is one of the best teams, the best team in the last 15 years and one of the hardest places to play. Just because Texas went in there and won doesn't mean it got any easier. So this is a huge challenge, dynasty, and we have to do a lot of work just to be on the field with those guys. Those are premier recruiting classes of 5-star players everywhere.
Just what was conversation with Quinshawn, I guess, throughout the day, just how he felt and kind of maybe the decision to start him there?
Yeah, I commend him a lot for, we never addressed what injury it is, but to be extremely injured and not be able to practice very much, and come out and play. And I didn't really think it a lot of times this week he was going to play at all. And then he came out and got some juice and warm-ups and said he was ready to go. So we played him, not quite as much as we normally would with a week off of practice, but, he battled in there.
Buying a home, take the first step by getting pre-approved by the Jake Ott team at your local Bank of England mortgage team. Will help you buy with confidence, knowing the exact cost and what to expect by getting the paperwork behind you on the front end, making for a relaxed, stress-free home buying experience. The Jake Ott team has over 50 years of experience, and through the end of 2023, they're offering a no-cost refinance for all who purchase in the current high-rate economy. The Jake Ott team, they're here for you, man. Let Oxford's Best take the stress out of your home buying experience. That's Jake Ott and the Bank of England mortgage team, www.boeoxford.com. You can call them at 662-832-4663. All right, so I'm looking at the receiving numbers for Ole Miss. Trey Harris is out. Caden Priestcorn is out. I doubt Trey Harris plays at Alabama. I think Caden Priestcorn is going to. Zachary Franklin I'll believe he exists when he actually shows up. Like the same thing with Jalen Robinson last year. But without all of these options, and that was the story coming in, Jordan Watkins and Dayton Wade do what they do and step up. Watkins was targeted a team high 6 times and had a team high 4 catches for 119 and a touchdown. Dayton Wade targeted 5 times, 3 for 86. Quinshawn Judkins in the passing game, 2 targets, and he turned them into 27 yards. Aiden Williams, very first play of the game, the 4-star decorated true freshman who we haven't seen, I would think, enough of, 1 catch for 19. And the only other pass catcher to log any statistics was one Michael Trigg, but it was a 0 on a touchdown that he dropped. Come on, Mike. Michael Trigg last year was the big offseason acquisition with Jaxson Dart, right? Like we were talking about, he's Kyle Pitts. He's the modern NFL tight end and all that kind of stuff. And now he's one of a bunch of options for them. This team is far superior to last year. And when you look around the SEC, Alabama today against USF, why is it so crazy with one of the very best, if not the best quarterback in the SEC right now, playing like a day 2 NFL draft pick, watching Alabama play, knowing that LSU is good. They're good. Yeah, they lost to Florida State. It's week 1. Jaden Daniels was awesome against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is bad. Arkansas is going to give Ole Miss some run. But in my opinion, through 3 weeks in an unimpressive SEC, it is not ridiculous to say that Ole Miss and LSU are going for the West right now. I mean, I think Ole Miss, if it can go to Alabama and beat Alabama, which historically it doesn't do. Grant you, Ole Miss doesn't beat Alabama and definitely doesn't beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But last year's team wasn't equipped for the long haul. Last year's team, if a Trey Harris caliber of player and a Caden Prieskorn caliber of player had gone down, who was replacing those players? Jordan Watkins steps up. Dayton Wade steps up. Yeah, Michael Trigg dropped his touchdown, but Michael Trigg was the number 1 offseason addition last year.
The stage is set, right? Ole Miss stepped up to the plate. They have a guy making $9 million. He's a top, 10 paid coach. The expectation should be, while the SEC West is the way it is, for us to win this thing, right? We've had 3 games. We've had 3 scrimmages. Now is the time. We're about to see.
Georgia Tech was improved. They were improved.
You have the best quarterback and probably the backup quarterback that would start for Alabama and Georgia right now, to be completely honest. The next 2 weeks, we have a better quarterback than Alabama this year. We have a better.
It's ridiculous to say, but it's true.
It's crazy. It is ridiculous to say. Ole Miss will be able to score down there. We will be able to score down there. Now, can we stop them? I don't know. If I'm Alabama, I'm lining up with 2 tight ends, and I am making us love it. If we play Alabama today, at home, we beat them the way they played versus so I'm going to watch most of that game. There's
the only
nothing
reason you and I and any Ole Miss fan out there right now that's listening to this are saying, well, yeah, but it's because of the history. We've been around Ole Miss football our entire lives. Ole Miss doesn't beat Alabama, and Ole Miss definitely doesn't beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. But if we're just judging based off nothing more than, comparing notes as far as football teams and scouting reports, Ole Miss is a better football team right now than Alabama. Because on paper, I'm watching this team, and we can say exactly what's the issues, I think. I think it is quite simple with this group, Like, they have real talent. They need to get healthy more than anything. But they have one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC playing like it. He's doing exactly what you and I have been saying he needed to do. He's taking that back playoff stuff.
And you got 2 coaches that know Kiffin, that they know Saban inside and out. They worked extensively with them. Like, if these 2 can't get together and figure out a way to make Saban have a long day, it's interesting to me. But I think now that there are certain windows or certain times. I think we're at a time right now, these next 2 weeks, where Kiffin can get into a different kind of status at Ole Miss, right? Because he really doesn't have those wins to me that are just like, oh, that's impressive, right?
The West can be won in the next 3 weeks.
It really can.
Now, of course, you got to finish out your schedule, but of those teams, of those 3 teams or 4 teams, let's include Arkansas, of those 4 teams, who's playing the best football?
Arkansas was losing to BYU when I looked. I'm not sure what happened into that game, but I mean, the SEC, it's here for the taking, dude. Like, there's no reason to think that we can't compete for this. I mean, I know this is the same stuff we do every year. We're 7-1 last year. We're 14 and whatever.
But that's what I was getting at with the trick stuff. Like that was smoke and mirrors. We were worried that, because the schedule is so easy to start, it makes more sense after putting eyeballs on these teams through 3 weeks to say, yeah, sure they can. It doesn't seem like the daunting stretch of games. To me, it looks like an opportunity. You'll know exactly who this team is after the end of the next 3 weeks.
if there's ever a chance for Kiffin to, which everybody already respects him, whatever, you know, he's done great here at Ole Miss. This is, to me, a chance for him to take that next step these next couple weeks. I think everybody would agree. He's 3-0. We are on. I mean, if you look at the way we're playing, and I think that the announcer said this on the SEC Network broadcast too, Ole Miss looks better than Alabama. I would say Alabama's going to struggle with Ole Miss. Just look at the way both teams have played this year. So now is the time, in my mind, to set this. I mean, dude, you got the next 2 weeks. I think is gonna. It could take Kiffin to another level. Jaxson Dart's the same way right now as Kiffin in my mind. Hey, you got the next 2 weeks to put that shit out there, and that just ain't no other way to put it, right? Hey, Kiffin, here you go, dude. You got a down Alabama team and an LSU team coming in your house. This is what we pay you for, right? Take it, right? I don't want to see a 24-10 ass beating or 24-3 ass beating down in Tuscaloosa next week. I don't, because that's what it's been in the past. You're a better team right now. You have a better quarterback. I mean, Alabama just went down to the wire with USF. Okay, we have enough talent to go there and beat them.
Yeah.
Show me what you're made of, big dog. Come on, get your popcorn. Let's go.
That one right there. That's what I'm clipping out. That's what I'm clipping out. For sure.
Get your popcorn. Let's go. He wants to say it like when they asked him after the game. He wants
to talk some shit.
He wants to talk some shit, man. But he talked that one time, and that old popcorn thing bit him. He got that. He got that popcorn thrown in his face.
That shot. If you don't find the hoop with it, bro. People, I mean, you never living it down. So the next time he pops off and makes a declaration like, "Hey, get your popcorn ready," he's got to deliver on it. You know what I mean? Like otherwise,
no question.
Yeah. He's Bradley Sowell. I'm Ben Garrett. This has been the Ole Miss Morning After Show. Bye, buddy.
See you, Ben. Hotty toddy.